Hello, everybody, and welcome to the greatest game that ever existed. This, you might have noticed, started from a mission failure, and that was because I accidentally backed into a thing I'm supposed to be defending in this episode. But I'm going to select the Nova, because that is the greatest mech for any mid-size tonnage allotment. And we're gonna go straight to it because we gotta defend this fire base that we're in.
What are we even defending? Because I only see the mist.
Yeah, this is a lot better than the 3D accelerated version. I know I've said that a lot. This is way better than the 3D accelerated version. You'll see it when we go back to it, though. You see what I mean about the Nova, though? Like, that's a mech with 20 more pounds. Well, something like that. 20 more tons-ish. And we just shred it instantly. So, here you go. This, right behind us here. This is the fire base. I don't know what a fire base is. Military people could probably tell you. It's got some turrets around it, which, as far as I can tell, don't actually work, but sometimes the enemy mechs will shoot at them. And the reason I lost last time was because I accidentally destroyed some of it myself.
That does make sense.
Because the enemy mechs will run into it, and then you have to shoot them and not it, or you will destroy it yourself. So yeah.
Yeah, that's always really annoying because obviously they don't.
Right. They don't care.
Like sometimes they do take that into account when designing enemy AI, and sometimes they just make it really asshole-ish.
Right. And they make it get it as close as possible.
Get it as close as possible because obviously the AI doesn't care when it dies because it's there's like an infinite amount of them, and they know that it's better.
And the same thing happens a lot in this game with ammunition. I don't even think that they actually have ammo. When they have when I have a weapon that would have ammunition, I have amount of ammunition I can fire, and then I can't fire that weapon anymore. I'm not certain that it keeps track of it for the enemies. I know it doesn't keep track of heat.
They
there are some
can
enemy mechs that will just fire infinitely heat generating weapons and not care. I actually walked into the fire again. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I've recently played that mech game, Virtual on Mars, and it had a whole bunch of it had one escort mission which was the worst escort mission ever.
Yeah,
created.
the escort missions, with one very, very exception in the Wolf campaign, are not bad in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Destroyed. Mission failed.
Yeah, you hear that? Firebase destroyed? I don't know how that happened. Somehow it got blowed up. It wasn't like, I was shredding everyone. That's kind of the point. That's why I uploaded that part of the failure, which is because sometimes it'll just die. Another thing to note is I have two different loadouts for my Nova, one with 6 lasers, one with 4.
Yeah.
And I decide which one to use depending on the environment, because this is an Arctic environment.
Mm-hmm.
Negative 3 degrees. And I think that might be Fahrenheit, even though it'd be silly. But regardless, my point is, it's very cold here, so it's a good place to use something that generates a lot of heat. And that's going to be a factor in my mech design going forward. And then also, you'll notice that I'm using some jump jets to dodge, and I'm changing fire modes and things like that, because I'm just really great at this game at that point.
But yeah, what I was getting at with Virtual on Mars, they also had the defended target mission, and the AI was just so vicious. Basically, it was very much obvious that there was an endless spawn of them, because it was timed and not defeat this many or protect from this many enemies.
These are all protect from a set number of enemies. They don't tell you how many enemies, but
yeah. So
There's
like once you
segment.
defeat them, it's over. But there it was just timed, and it was very obvious that the AI knew that like you could shoot at them for a really long time, and they really wouldn't care and would just keep attacking the target.
This is kind of cool. They jump off of their own dropship.
Ooh, wow!
See?
And like it zooms into the distance. That's really nice.
Yeah, I thought, and it looks way better on the 3D accelerator. I'm not going to emulate that, so.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But you know, at the very least, we do have the night and day effect.
Yes. Another neat thing about the Nova is that its firing level is exactly at the cockpit level for the Jenner. So if you're in a Nova fighting Jenners, you will headshot them very frequently.
Without even having to actually use the controls.
Without having to aim. It's just because your gun is at that height, basically.
Mm-hmm, nice.
And that will be very relevant in a future episode. See this guy? He's just like hiding behind the thing he can't shoot.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. Oh yeah, they have spatial awareness. Sure. That spatial awareness that you will never have as a human in the first-person mode of this game. If you still actually want to hit something. Right,
because external mode is not good for trying to shoot. You might hear that crow sound. That's autocannons, which are one of those things, like I said, that require a lot of ammo, and so you can't use them typically because you have to kill a whole bunch of mechs, but they can use them because they only have to kill you. And they are very powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always really disliked that, where like the enemy can use this one, for example, they will have, in RPGs, oftentimes they will have an item that you only get like 7 of them throughout the game. They have an infinite supply.
Yeah. The good old Elite 4 full restores.
Well, okay, full restores are a bad example because you can get like 50 of them. That's not an issue. But like, for example, in Hybrid Heaven, you have there are guns, and guns are very rare and very one particular kind is very powerful, the ice one, which not only does a lot of damage, it also stops whatever it hits, and if you damage anything that has been frozen, it receives twice the damage. It's pretty much a death sentence.
Wow.
You get like maybe 3 of them throughout the whole game, and there is this enemy that can use it on literally every turn, and it's a boss. So you just have to get
It's one
lucky.
of those, we're trying to show off this mechanic style things, but the way they show it off is by really just taunting.
It is also like the most infuriating, it's also, you have to do the most infuriating boss non-boss thing before it, so it's just a really salty part of the game altogether.
Something else I wanted to mention, which is very neat that they did in this game. When you go up into the air using your jump jets, you can't turn unless you use your jump jets. So it actually, like depending on the gravity, which different planets have different gravity, you'll fall faster or slower. So there's actually like a lot of systems in this game.
Mm-hmm. That does actually make sense that you wouldn't be able to just turn your directions once you're already in the air.
So, but I just appreciate the thought that went into this whole thing. It was obviously made by people who were passionate.
Reinforcements en route. Sensors indicate incoming friendly dropships. Dido and Victory. Primary objective: defend Firebase. Successful.
Yay!
Firebase.
Now, I don't know this for sure because I didn't test it. But if I remember correctly, one time when I was a kid, after I had successfully finished the mission, I accidentally launched some missiles at the base and failed it.
It does sound like it's possible.
Oh, goodness.